उन 5 बरस की घड़ियों में जो लम्हे व्यस्त बिताए थे, उन 5 बरस की घड़ियों में जो लम्हे व्यस्त बिताए थे और छात्रावास की थड़ियों पर जो ठहाके मस्त लगाए थे, ऐसे मदमाते लम्हों का, ऐसे मदमाते लम्हों का एल्यूमिनाई संगम की बेला में एहसास ढूंढने निकला हूं। ओझल होते उन चिन्हों की पहचान ढूंढने निकला हूं। और अंतिम छंद है, दरमिया सफर इन राहों पर, दरमिया सफर इन राहों पर जो चले साथ थे चंद कदम, हर पल पाते थे साथ जिन्हें, तो पास फेल या आंखें नम। ऐसे धूमिल पद चिन्हों के, ऐसे धूमिल पद चिन्हों के निशान ढूंढने निकला हूं। ओझल होते पद चिन्हों की पहचान ढूंढने निकला हूं। और लास्ट पंक्ति है सर, 90 के दशक में तब यारों, 90 के दशक में तब यारों आईआईटी की गरिमा न्यारी थी। पढ़ते लिखते रोते हंसते, पढ़ते लिखते रोते हंसते जो घड़ियां साथ गुजारी थी। यहाँ ज्ञान मिला जो गुरुओं से, यहाँ मिला ज्ञान जो गुरुओं से, उसने तकदीर संवारी थी। ऐसे गरिमा में आईआईटी की, ऐसे गरिमा में आईआईटी की इस पावन ज्ञानी माटी का मैं वंदन करने निकला हूँ। ओझल होते उन चिन्हों की पहचान ढूंढने निकला हूँ।
Wow.
Thank you.
Super. Thank you very much, Professor Suneja. That was really wonderful. Yeah. I think Satish, is Nand Kumar has joined in or not?
Maybe he will join later. You may start.
Okay, so let's start that.
Kalpe sir is joined already.
Yeah. I think the rest of the 3 people, Ashish, Kaustubh, and Nazuk, have joined in. So welcome to the participants of this event today. The episode ये उन दिनों की बात है. I think इसी संदर्भ के अंदर आप लोगों ने अभी प्रोफेसर सुनील से इसी विषय के ऊपर एक कविता सुनी है यार. तो ये जो this episode is primarily to take everybody back into your IIT days, which we all relish, and try and rediscover ourselves, our journey before and after the IITs. So we have 3 candidates, 3 participants today. One is Ashish Lal. He's a BTech in civil engineering from in 2001. He is an owner of a private company and making films. These films are made for the corporate world. These are primarily for training purpose, skill development. He has joined and he has had a certificate from Isha Yoga of Coimbatore. He has been traveling a different path all the time, started his career, and now he is into full-time making this corporate films here. Then we have Kaustubh, another person who didn't like probably the engineering and started his own studio known as Spark Studio, where he is working for developing communication skill, music, and art for the kids here. He is a BTech computer science graduate of 2009, quite a youngster. Probably was not even born when I passed out from IIT in 1975. He also has an NGO which is Paddle Hard and has a unique feat of crossing the sea from Goa to Bombay on a kayak single. We'll talk about it later. And last, we have Nazuk Kumar, who is a BTech 2013, who started his career at A.T. Kearney, a consulting company, and then slowly moved into the government of India. And she's an IS officer stationed now at Aizawl in Mizoram. She has been a really intelligent academic. Her journey to the IITs, and she has done a lot of things, has won a lot of accolades before joining IIT and even after joining the IIT. So we start with we'll start with Nazuk only, because she's the only lady at the moment. So Nazik, it's all up to you. So we'd like to know your time before you joined IIT and really what prompted you to go to the IIT and when did you really learn about the IIT? So Nazik, it's all yours.
So good evening to all senior alumni and all my fellow IITians today. It's an honor to be invited to this forum, and it's really a pleasure, true pleasure, to connect with everybody who shares the same link of the same college. And it's really great to see where all our alumni are and what all wonderful things everybody is doing across the world, I would say. Actually, quite honestly, if you are an intelligent student, you are somehow just told that you have to do either engineering or medicine, especially at that time. Now things have still changed a little bit. And I did not really want to be a doctor. So that's how I ended up in the non-medical stream. And then, of course, when you're doing something, you want to do the best that there is in that field. So that's how I landed up at IIT. But the journey those 4 years, I think, were the most formative, and the amount of things that I learned, that was the real highlight. Right from a very vigorous academic curriculum to balancing so many other things, whether it be our clubs, our dance practices, or rendezvous, or organizing some cultural event. For me, those 4 years represented a lot of people skills, a lot of things, a lot of experiences that I cherish, both inside and outside the classroom, both, which now, having met a lot of people from other walks of life, I feel that that's something very unique that only IIT gives us.
Right. Thank you. Any time when you really came to know about IIT and what difference did you find your imagination prior to your joining the IIT and then your experience in the IIT?
Actually, my father is also from IIT Delhi. He did his
Oh,
BTech
wow.
and MTech from IIT Delhi, from Kumaon Hostel. So when I was in class 10th, I had gone for his 25 years alumni meet in the campus. So that also kind of really motivated me that this is a great place to be. And I had heard a lot of stories. But actually, when I went there, the first year, quite frankly, was a little stressful, because you, from being the first person in your class, you end up going where everybody is first and everybody is really talented. So of course, first year is a little stressful, but then one understands how to maneuver around it.
So when did your father pass out from IIT Delhi?
So I don't know the exact. I think it is 82. I think
82. Okay. So it was probably junior to me.
What was his name?
Anil Kumar. He was in mechanical Kumaon
I
Hostel.
see. Oh, I see. And what's her surname, if you don't mind?
Anil Kumar. He's an 88 batch IAS officer.
88 batch IAS officer. Oh, then he is an IAS with a couple of my batchmates from IIM Ahmedabad.
Okay, must be.
Incidentally, yesterday only I spoke to another police officer of Mizoram cadre, Mr. Muhammad Ali.
Yes,
he is a AIG there. And he also told me that Mr. Srivastav is from IIT Delhi.
Yes, he's an MTech, our DGP. Yes.
Correct, very correct. The DGP is also from IIT Delhi.
Yes.
You have wonderful company. You are living on the campus only almost. Huh? Your IPS mess must be, IAS IPS mess must be full of wonderful crowd. Good to hear you, Nazir.
In my batch of the IAS, we are out of 180, we are almost about 50 IITians and 11 from IIT Delhi itself and 4 girls from IIT Delhi. So wonderful. I'm very proud.
You are making all of us proud. Wonderful.
Okay, now we move to Kaustubh. Kaustubh, you have the same question. How was your journey prior to you reaching the IIT gate?
Awesome.
When did you learn about IIT?
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar space. My whole family is full of doctors, to be very honest. My uncle is a radiologist. My grandfather is a PhD. Everybody else is, in forensic or some crazy field. And I think it was quite evident once when my dad took me to his evening practice, and he was giving somebody an injection. And I heard that child squeal, and I was like, "Oh, this is not for me. Sorry, like I can't do this." So it's very clear that, okay, sorry, doctor to nahi banna. And I was always very good at math and computer science growing up. So it was a bit of a no-brainer for me. I also noticed you're from Bombay, but I used to live in Powai. So for me, IIT Bombay was like was where we just go in the evenings for walks. So it was just like, yeah, of course, padna to, then you're just going to cross the road and go to this college. It seems decent. but that's how it came about. And touch wood, it happened. I was lucky enough to get into IIT Delhi, not IIT Bombay. So now I'm here. Yeah. So
Okay, now we move to Ashish.
Yeah,
Ashish,
yeah.
it's all yours now.
Thank you, first of all, Narendra ji, for this invite. It's an honor. So I come from Dhanbad, Jharkhand. My
okay.
father is a mining engineer.
Oh, great.
So I, as Nazuk said, it's engineering or medical. So it was like that in Dhanbad also. But I came to know about IIT in 9th standard, not before that. So in 9th, I came to know there's something called IIT, which is really good and the best. And then I came to know there's a city called Bokaro Steel City, just near to Dhanbad, from where hundreds of IITians qualify. It's a small Steel Authority of India Limited city, but a lot of guys get into IIT through that. So for 11th and 12th, I went there, studied, and it was very clear that I had to get into IIT. And IIT Delhi, because after 12th, I went into FITG, prepared for IIT JEE. And, when you are in that city and you see IIT Delhi every day while you go in the bus, then that becomes your dream. So I was very clear I have to go to IIT Delhi.
Okay, so this is how you landed up in IIT Delhi.
Yes.
Okay, good. So now we move back to our second question, and that is, okay, this is again to Nazuk. Nazuk, I know you already mentioned something about your life in IIT, but now a little more detail. What are the events you think molded you in IIT and what you still remember, and some of those nostalgic moments which you'd really like to share and cherish yourself here? Can you just share those ones? Your stay in IIT Delhi?
For me, I was less of an academics person, more of a extracurricular person. So I was trying to do almost everything, maybe not successfully everything. But some of the things I remember, like in first year, I had done that institute play production. So we used to spend almost a month in seminar hall, spending the entire night there, practicing, sometimes not practicing, sometimes just having a good time. So that was one. In my third year, I had hosted the pro night for Rendezvous. So that was really an experience where I was a little scared because it was 5,000 people in the oat, and that kind of hosting is very different. You don't need to really say anything. You just have to keep cheering them up. Let's make some noise. Let's make some noise. Just that is enough. But that was one experience. These two were, and of course, the list just goes on. I mean, I'll not.
Yeah, but then something which, really change your thinking on the way. I'm sure, see, when you enter in, you're quite raw, but by the time you come out, you're fairly matured, yeah. So it happens because you experience your life in IIT, looking at other people, what they're doing and what you want to do. And slowly what you're studying, it also matures you. So at some point of time, you say, okay, now I want to take up this in my life when I grow up. I mean, when I move out of the IIT. Anything like that happened with you?
About writing the UPSC, that was always clear to me. I always knew that that's what I had to do. And that was also one of the reasons why I wanted to get into Delhi, particularly because the ecosystem of UPSC is much better in Delhi compared to, say, Bombay or Madras. But on maturity, I would say that when I came into IIT, I was a really rebellious person. And I wanted to fight against everything, and especially seniors in hostel, and everything was like a fight for me. But then I saw that there were people around me who were respecting all the rules and regulations, respecting all the conventions of hostel and all those things, and yet getting along and getting what they needed in a very sweet manner. So that's what I learned, and I felt that one doesn't need to keep on rebelling when one can get what they want without putting too much of fire into it.
Good. That's good. So now we move on to Ashish. Ashish,
Yeah.
yeah, your journey in
Sir, I would like to just
IIT.
ask Ashish one question, because I went to Bokaro for studies for JEE. वहाँ का पानी ही पिया नहीं गया मेरे से.
तू तो पटना का है यार. हाँ?
सर पटना से भी बोकारो बहुत दूर नहीं है.
वो पटना से पानी पीने बोकारो जाता था.
Yeah, I have gone to Ranchi at least 25-30 times, yeah, from Bombay.
Sir,
And there was a
actually,
time-
जैसे आशीष ने कहा ना कि Bokaro was a place which was known to produce a lot number of IITians. So I went, but मेरे से 2-4 दिन के अंदर ही पानी पीने के हिसाब से बना नहीं, तो मैं वापस लौट गया.
So you won't believe that I was in Bokaro for a project, and that project is those days I'm talking about. This is in early 80s. In those days, it was the first slapcaster we were planning it to the Bokaro, and you won't believe it, when we were going inside the campus of the plant, we had at least half a dozen of people with guns in their hand there, because there was a strike going on at that time. Yeah. So I have a very nostalgic memories of the Bokaro city here. Okay, Ashish, it's yours.
Yeah. So I joined in 2001, passed out in 2005, worked for 4 years, and then
Which hostel?
Vindhyachal House.
Vindhyachal. Okay.
And then I became an actor, and I also have a film production house where we make corporate films as well as we make feature films, theatrical films, and so on and so forth. So this was a complete, how I think only IIT made it possible because of the Dance and Dramatics Club. That's it. Had there been no Dance and Dramatics Club, I would have not got into films by any means. There was no way. I had never acted. I had never directed before. So my memory is of Facha skit, which was the turning point for me, because we used to have Facha skit in 2001, and I don't know if it happens now also. And at those days, there used to be a lot of hooting and all, and almost 400, 500 people in the seminar hall. And I had a small role where I had to mimic different actors and then come back. So when I went there, so they were hooting from different hostels. There used to be those days. I don't know how it works today. And the first mimicry I did, somebody started hooting. Then the second mimicry I did, people said, okay, ruko, acha lag raha hai. Then the third mimicry I did, and I did 12, 15 mimicry. And I had never heard those many claps ever in my life. So it was a high point. I was like, my God, what is this? And then I went on to become the cultural secretary. I directed plays. I acted in plays, wrote them. I won Best Director Award also. But even then, I didn't know that I would get into films and all. But when I started working after 6 months, I realized that this is not what I would like to do. And then eventually, after a few years, I quit my job and went into this. I have acted recently in a TV series. If you know Rashmi Desai, who was in Big Boss and all. So I was the lead actress. She was opposite me. I've also acted as a lead actor in a film named With Love Delhi. It had Tom Alter, Kiran Kumar, Seema Biswas and all. And we are right now working on a feature film with Arbaz Khan. So this journey has been possible only because of Dance and Dramatics Club of IIT Delhi. 100%.
So, but how did you pass out how did you get your BTech degree? You're dancing all the way.
Yeah. So as Nazuk said, I was also not in school, I was the first in my school days, topper in 10th and all. But at IIT, I was not a studious guy. I used to be completely till 4 a.m. in the morning. I used to either be involved in Dance and Dramatics Club or as a percussionist in the music club. So that's all I did. day in and day out, and somehow I managed to pass in 4 years. I used to know the syllabus
That's an
one night
achievement.
before. So we used to just photocopy the syllabus one night before, and then we used to have 2 more guys. So 3 guys, tu itna pad, ek tihai tu pad, ek tihai tu pad, ek tihai tu pad. So 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. we used to start. So पहला वाला पढ़ा देता था 2-3 घंटे, दूसरा वाला पढ़ा था, तीसरे वाले में छोड़ यार सो जाते हैं. And that's the way we somehow managed.
So do you remember any incident which really shook you while you were in IIT? Something which is very unusual happened to you during your stay?
A lot of unusual things happened.
Yeah, any one of them you can share it.
Whatever you can say in public.
Yeah. So I was the house secretary at that time, and then some guys were drunk in the hostel, and and there was Mr. I should not name my warden. So warden used to live just opposite Windy House. So some guys were angry on the warden, and they threw those bottles, through the windows, and spoke his name also, and you know what they said. So he eventually came in, and I was responsible because I was the house secretary, and somehow I protected them. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened. He was furious. पुलिस में डाल देंगे, क्या मजाक है, IIT में वो कैसे बिहेव करते. I said no, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, ये उसको किसी तरह उन लोगों को छुपा के रखा हुआ था, जिससे पकड़ नहीं पाया उनको.
Well, this was a time, I mean, every time when, every year, even in 70s when I joined, they used to behave in the same fashion. Yeah, the warden used to be always at the receiving end. Yeah.
तो आशीष, आपकी एक्टिंग स्किल जो है वहां भी काम आई होगी अच्छे से, जब आपने प्रोटेक्ट किया उनको. अदरवाइज इट वुड नॉट हैव बीन पॉसिबल.
Yeah.
Right.
So now, Kaustav, it's yours.
Yeah. No, and I'll start with the funny incident, because mine was kind of different than this. I was in computer science, and in computer science, like, studying is like the norm. You just have to, otherwise you won't make it in 4 years. Yeah, it's a given. Ki tumhari degree nahi niklegi. So I think we were fairly straight shooters right through, like, till the last semester, and then last semester you got a job, and like it's a little calmer. You're ready to do some adventurous stuff and all this sort of thing. And through the 4 years, you're just seeing, somebody is cheating, somebody is doing, essay assignment submit kar raha hai kisi aur ka, all this sort of stuff. And then this senior of mine was doing a course with me in marketing. And he convinced me, like, dude, you know what? We should also try this. We should also try cheating, So this became like a mission for us, Like, how do we cheat now? Yeah. And at the time, I think we just got these, Nokia had just come out with those E51s, 53 series, and it had just got, that 2G data, right? And this friend of mine had like a fairly big one. I just got mine. I don't know how, like, my dad allowed it, but I just got it. So we were like, no, we were going to do this thing. So we went into this marketing final exam, right? And that time you used to have 2 exams back to back. So you had I had marketing in the afternoon, and right after that I had AI, right? So we're like, yeah, marketing, maybe we can Google some answers. Maybe that's cheating. So we sat down, we started getting ready for this, massive cheating session that we're going to do. And this paper comes out, and this paper is so goddamn simple. It is so easy. There was no scope. There was no scope to cheat. There was no scope for me to Google something. I was just like busy writing. And so I wrote this whole thing, just kept this thing, finished it, submitted this thing, ran to LT, because the other AI is in LT, right? And AI is like a hard test, right? It's like, it's fairly nerve-wracking. Really have to apply your noodle. So I just run into this thing with all my bags, go outside, like on the way, I'm still like, brushing through my notes and stuff. Get to this LT, go to the front, throw my bag down, come back, start writing my 2-hour paper. And then about an hour in or something like that, this professor comes to my table and he's like, ye kya? And I'm like, what? And in this whole rush, I had left my whole semester notes like on the table that I'm writing this exam on, And this professor like, ये तो खुल्लम खुल्ला cheating कर रहे हो तुम, you know? And I was like, God damn it, this is ridiculous. And then he writes on my paper, caught with notes in the and then and this is the last semester, and I'm like, oh no, he's going to fail me. I'm not going to get this degree in 4 years. So that was like a really, really ridiculous incident that happened with me back at IIT. But to your earlier point and your question on like something that really stood out and has helped me through the long term, I think once you have these the pre-placement presentations. So you have these guys coming from Amazon and Google and so on and so forth, and they're presenting, oh, look at how lovely our garden is, come work in our garden, that sort of thing, right? And there was this one person who was slightly offbeat. He was just like, yeah, you know what, this is the package, this is this thing, you know, show up if you have to. So I was like, wow, this guy's great. And then we pressed him for some more questions. And then he gave us a really like eloquent answer, because he's also from some IIT, I can't recall which one. But he just told us, ki, listen, boss, the fact is ki you're from an IIT. So we're like, sure, I mean, like, got this like check mark so far, you know, story checks out. And then he's like, the thing is that you will never like not have a job. Or in the worst of situations, you will still have a job, right? It might not be the flashiest job. You might not be like in Microsoft or whatever the rage was back then, right? But if you're in desperate times, you can always fall back on your degree and you'll be fine in life, right? You'll still make enough for roti, kapda, makan. And I was like, yeah, that makes complete sense. So he's like, then you owe it to yourself to like try something different. And I thought that was brilliant, right? I said, this is like, it makes complete sense. And luckily, touch wood, my parents have been, you know, well blessed. So our financial situation is not that bad. But then listening to him, it just made sense, you know, why not apply myself to something outside of, you know, the immediate sphere of what we've learned here. And so every time that like I've gone on to, you know, do some expedition or some adventure sports or something like that, I've always felt you know, I could do it because I could still like fall back. And so I've taken, you know, like I've taken at least 3 sabbaticals in my life. One of them was 2 of them were I think 6 months. One was a year and a half. I've worked less than most people my age, but I've done like quite a few interesting things, and I think that's been quite useful.
Yeah. Okay. Kaustav, I'll still be with you. Just tell us something about your journey from Goa to Bombay on a kayak solo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's my first one.
To do that, yeah. I know you were a footballer during your college days in IIT, and you started this Paddle Hard. It's an NGO.
It's not an NGO. It's just what we branded for any kayaking initiatives, and subsequently I support NGOs. So every expedition I do, I then raise money, and then the 2 expeditions I've done, I've supported Magic Bus, which is a lovely NGO.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
the Magic Bus. So can you tell something more about this journey from Goa to kayak? Don't you think it was dangerous?
Don't I think it was dangerous? So the funny thing was when I came up with this ridiculous idea to kayak from Bombay to Goa, I told my dad, right? Like I was just like, Dad, you know, I'm going to go do this thing. And my dad's like, yeah, super. You know what? Like, I'll get the car, right? It'll be my driver. We'll be on the beach. You know, he thought it was like this picnic, right? We're going to be like having a little mild beer on the beach and like, you know, and having a good time. And then everybody that like, because I was looking for sponsors at the time, so I was you know, meeting a bunch of people. He would be at these meetings every now and then, and everybody comes. You know, they wouldn't give me the money, but they shake my dad's hand and be like, hey, you know what, your son is like a damn brave guy. And then after a while, my dad's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, is there something I should be worried about? Like, what's going on, you know? And then I told him that, like, listen, I'm going to be out like at least 3 to 5 kilometers away from shore. It's India. You don't have a ready Coast Guard. Nobody's coming to get me, you know, like if I sink, I'm sinking, you know, like I'm going to have to swim a little. So then that's when he panicked, and he was just like, wow, this sounds... But it wasn't that bad, to be honest. The Bombay Goa was the first expedition. It was the pilot. I kayaked in, I think, 2015, left from Gateway, reached Morjim. It took me 17 days to do it. Yeah. It's
So,
a
but,
little-
but there was anybody following you, or you were just all alone?
Yeah, because dad made sure that one of the sponsors gave us a boat, right? He's just like, no, we need a boat.
So that you don't sink.
So I don't think, yeah, and I swear to God, that was the cutest dad thing to do, but also it's like the most harrowing thing because now I had to worry about the boat. So I was more worried about the boat than I was worried about myself. Because every day, like I would worry, ki, where do I park this boat? You can't like park boats in normal places, but I can just like get off the beach anywhere. So, but the second expedition we didn't take the boat. The second expedition is slightly longer. We went from Kutch, western front of Gujarat, and I kayaked all the way down to Kanyakumari. So I did the whole west coast, and
Okay.
yeah, that was
That's
more fun.
great. Yeah. See, there is one thing which is common to all three of you. And you know what it is? You all become engineer, but none of you is following engineering here. You are into absolutely something totally different, which I'm sure nobody could have imagined that, okay, having entered into IIT, you're going to start making films, or you're going to be going on a ridiculous expeditions here. Of course, as far as IIS is concerned, I mean, a lot of, as Nazuk said it, there are a lot of IITians who are in administrative services. Yeah. So Nazuk, I'm back to you. Let's hear your experience in the Northeast, because that area is still considered as alien to Indians here. So let's hear from you, the life in Aizawl.
Yeah, thank you for the question. On your first point, I also used to think that textile technology, will I be using it anywhere? But just recently we are doing a project on handloom development here, and somehow all those things, weft, warp, all those things have come back to me, and I have to tell, like I now feel that I should go back and revise those things so that I can tell the weavers what better things they can do. So I think life is full of surprises. You'd never know when what comes back to you. Life in Mizoram is very different. It's when we say unity and diversity, this is where it actually comes out. It's a different language, it's a different culture, different religion, different food, different way of wearing things. So what we take as default Indian is not really, is not the way of life here. Obviously it was a little difficult in the beginning when I moved here. It's a 3-year tenure that I have to do. But once I got the hang of it, I realized that there are so many good things. A couple of them, one is that they are very community oriented. So that support system is really good. Family and their neighborhood. So if there is anything, any celebration or anything wrong that happens, there is an automatic support system, which I think is really going down in the Western world, and in India also it's kind of breaking down. The second one is that they are happy despite not being very rich, despite not getting into the rat race. So it's a very alternate way of living. I would say that one can be happy without ticking off everything and stressing about everything. So I think I've become a lot more patient living here.
Do you think that's a good sign?
I think it's needed for happiness. One can't, there's a point only up till which you can keep hustling.
So you could conclude that materialistic is not a happy ending at the end.
I think
life,
that we should
being
appreciate
materialistic
everything.
can't make you happier.
Of course, one has to run after ambition and everything, but one should appreciate. Should not just keep thinking that when I will get this, then I will become happy. Whatever you're getting day to day, that also should.
Achieving goal is something else. Yeah, I mean, one should not connect achieving goals to money making. Yeah. See, the moment you start attaching your money making to your goals, this is where the trouble starts in your life. Yeah.
And simple things like having friends, having family, that's also a very big thing to have.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yes, Ashish, where are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, so it's your turn now.
Yeah, what was the question? I forgot.
I forgot. So we were just talking about a project, yeah? Let me see. So you
Sir,
moved up
meanwhile, I'll
totally.
take this opportunity.
Yeah, sure.
Meanwhile, I'll take this opportunity to communicate to Najuk that I will seek her help because I want to travel 4 states in Northeast, which is left over. Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, and Nagaland. So I'll connect with you, Najuk, on this.
Yeah,
Yes,
Nazuk,
definitely.
I have
Most
already,
don't give me visa.
Pankaj, I have already sent a personal message to her.
Sir, that is, sir, so that is also fine that I'll go with the
so-
president, no issues. I'm the secretary.
We will go together.
So
Yeah.
no, let's the whole EC make a trip to the Northeast. Yeah.
Yeah, fair
Definitely.
enough, sir. I mean,
See, I have
Okay.
already lined up Manipur, Nagaland, and Meghalaya. So now we have Mizoram also. Let's get going.
So let's find out how many other IITians are there who are in that area as an IS officers there. Let's do that. Seriously speaking, not as a joke, but I think
I
more
can help
people-
connect on that. Yes, I
sir,
Yeah,
can.
that'll be
sir, by
really
the way,
great.
I was completely serious. I was not joking at all. मेरे भारत के 25 राज्य हो चुके हैं, 4 बाकी हैं बस.
You have a different kind of ambitions, yeah. Yeah, Ashish, it was
Yeah.
yours, and see, you decided to go on a totally different tangent here.
Yeah.
Engineering, probably, I mean, because you were in Bokaro and Bokaro was full of IITians. I think there was a crazy race out there to go to the IITs.
Yes.
You just got into the race and was a winner, go to the IIT Delhi, and then you realize that, okay, you're an art specialist, yeah, you like more dancing, and then you decided to come back here. How could you just, mold yourself into this new arena of making films, especially when you did it for the corporate training, but that's a different kettle of fish as compared to doing a commercial Bollywood films, yeah.
Right. So first of all, when I started working in the first 6 months, I felt depressed and disillusioned because all my life my parents said कि पढ़ाई करो, अच्छा होगा तो ये हो जाएगा, फिर ये होगा तो ये हो जाएगा, first होगा तो ये हो जाएगा, and it was always like that. And IIT में हो जाएगा तो then life is set. And when I started working, I said, what is this? This is what I worked for all my life. I was seriously like, I cannot do this for next 40 years. I just could not do it. So then, because I was a middle class guy, I just could not quit. So I thought of many ways, started saving, and after 4 years, I quit. And then we made a feature film. We made a feature film, released it in theaters, got crowdfunding, but did not have enough money to market it. It had Padma Shri Tom Alter, who has passed away a few years ago. It had national award winner Seema Biswas. It had Kiran Kumar and all. But we could hardly release it. We could not do PR, and it was a financial disaster for us. And we were completely bankrupt. But and everybody said that you have to now go back to the pavilion. But I was very clear that no, I'll get depressed there, and maybe I don't know what I'll do. I'm not going back. So by that time we had started making corporate films, and we are getting money from that. But when I moved to Mumbai from Delhi, I thought, no more corporate films. I'll always only focus on entertainment films. We'll make feature films and, web series and stuff like that. But it is a very closed arena. It's very difficult to get into it. It's very difficult. I'm telling you, we don't have a pathway in the Hindi film industry, how you enter it. So it had been a very long struggle of several years where I did not know how would I pay rent for next month. And I could easily go back and do something. So in that phase, I started teaching maths and physics in a coaching institute. I was paid 1,000 rupees per hour. And somehow I survived a couple of years. And then I got a little funding for a particular project. Then it was all a roller coaster. And then eventually I got married in 2017. And my wife was a corporate girl. She was a senior at a senior post in a very good corporate company. And that brought stability after so many years of struggle. And when that stability came, when I knew that I don't have to worry about paying rent the next month, which was almost like an 8-year long drawn process. Sometimes suddenly you have a lot of money. Sometimes again, you don't have nothing for 6 months. After that, I realized that I should handle both corporate films as well as entertainment films together, because it's better than teaching physics and maths. At least in corporate films, you are shooting, right? It is somehow connected to the film industry. And then we got a lot of projects through corporate, in the corporate world. I have, being an ITN, you are connected to the corporate world in some ways, and you understand how it works because I had worked for 4 years. So that gives me money, you know. So we have worked for United Nations, we have worked for Bajaj, Godrej, Castrol, Britannia. We make e-learning films for them. We make ad films for them. We make animated explainer videos where we explain a product or a service. We make corporate AVs, branding and all. So that is another part. And the money we get from there, we make short films. We try to pitch to actors. We have scripts ready for feature films and all. So still in the entertainment segment, we are struggling to break that. You know what I mean? We have everything ready, but you need that kind of funding to start a project.
Just one question to you. You said when you joined the corporate world, within 6 months you found out that, okay, this world is not for you.
No.
But really, something must have happened which really took you that way. Okay, this is not the world for me. What really happened?
I felt aimless for the first time in my life. So as the way I've been brought up, there was always a goal, and you achieve that, you know, achievement oriented. That was the upbringing. And now I'm not so much like that. It's more trying to be in the moment and enjoying the process. But at that time, it was all about goals. You know, this is the goal, I have to achieve it. When I started working in the corporate world, somehow I felt that I'm just another guy. And if God is watching from above, I'm just crawling. I cannot explain the feeling. I was almost into depression at that time. What am I doing? There's no goal. There's no aim. What am I doing? Why I'm doing this? What is it? What I'm looking forward to? I had no answers. So
maybe you didn't get a good counselor.
No, Ashish, you're lucky you didn't get a counselor. You're in a very happy space, and I'm really very impressed by this journey, to the extent that somebody wanting to admit this in publicly, that what was going wrong and how you felt that your calling in life was different from what exactly all of us we pursue. This is amazing, but I'm just giving one suggestion. I mean, recently only Gunit has won this award for short film, and she managed it with crowdfunding. I mean, she managed her 1 crore out of crowdfunding. Should it appeal to you? I think you should explore that option. And it certainly may help you in fulfilling your wish to produce things on your own.
Right.
And let me know. I mean, I may connect you with some few persons who could be interested in your kind of activities. Let's see.
Yeah, Ashish, I have a good news for you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, there's another IIT Delhi guy.
Yeah.
Who is in Bollywood. He's an MTech guy.
MTech guy. Okay.
MTech guy from IIT Delhi who's in Bollywood, who gives music and writes songs. Yeah. So if you want, we can get it connected with.
Amol Parashar is there.
He's there for last 20 years. Or 25 years.
Amol, I know. He's my junior from IIT.
Amol is from IITD. And I'll connect you with Gaurav Dagaonkar. He's I am a junior, but he's pretty well established and given music for a couple of Bollywood films also.
That's great.
Great. I'll connect with you. I'll take your contact from Narendraji.
So, Kalpen, are you not trying to act in one of his movies?
No, not me. If there is a dumb character, I don't mind. We doesn't have to say a word.
I would be keen, sir. I would be keen.
I believe Chetan Bhagat is also well connected.
Yeah, Chetan Bhagat is also there for Bahadur's thing. You are right.
See, Ashish in a glamorous world where I know I am a misfit.
No, you're a good-looking guy. You're not a misfit at all.
Is that so, Ashish? You're mistaken, huh?
So don't worry. The painting denting they do it.
I'm only good at managing alumni associations.
There was one Shahrukh sir when we were in first year. He was in
Tarun Singhal.
Yes.
Yeah. So I know him very well. Yeah. He's a very good.
We had done a play with her.
So anybody else would like to say something more, add to the story which you all heard up till now?
I would like to say something.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
I'm I.K. Khanna. we have a chapter of IITDA in Jabalpur. In fact, our collector and SP both are from Delhi IIT. Mr. Bahuguna is also mechanical graduate. I was also in mechanical. I was just talking about my MTech days. That was 71 to 73. And in 72, we had first strike in IIT Delhi when Mr. Dogra was the director and Subramanian Swamy was one of the visiting professors. And we were staying in Shivalik Hostel. And they blocked our mess. If you have to take food, you have to go and join the strike in the director's office. So हमारा खाने का पूरा डब्बा यहाँ से बन के पूरा हॉस्टल से वहाँ जाता था, रात को हमको वहाँ पे खाने मिलता था. Anyway, that was something December 72 or something. Uska IIT was closed for quite one time, and then in January 73 we opened. Uske baad bhi कर्मचारियों से हड़ताल वगैरह. They used to switch off the lights, etc. And we were given lanterns and kerosene to read and study in our rooms. Can you imagine such a situation? Then they used to switch off the light from the post. So we used to climb opposite Shivalik, and there's a tennis court, and between those posts. तो हम लोग सीढ़ी लेके जाते थे, उसको जो के कनेक्ट कर देते थे रात के 4 बजे, और फिर आके हॉस्टल में सबको जगाते थे, देखो हमने लाइट कनेक्ट कर दी. So those were the days when IIT Delhi had first strike. Anyway, I have got many more memories and some other occasion.
Khanna Sahab, I was there at the same time. I joined in 1970 and passed out in 75. You're talking about Mr.
So you must be remembering those things, huh?
Oh, I know Mr. Swamy very well. I met him when he was the president of the Janata Party. Yeah, he was our professor. He was, when I was in second year, he taught us economics. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also with him, there was another Bengali guy. I'm forgetting his name now, who then became the who I think is still the finance minister of West Bengal. Yeah. He was the CIA head in Delhi.
Another incident, another memory I had that comes to my mind. One of my teachers, Mr. Manmohan Sehra, he was my class fellow in Government Engineering College, Jabalpur. But he did his MTech, so he was my teacher in MTech. And another teacher was Professor Premrat. He was from the same batch from IIT Kharagpur. So he was my teacher. I did my PhD with Professor Premrat in 1986. I don't know what has happened, huh? So those were the days.
Music.
So I spent 2 years for MTech and about 3.5 years for PhD. I've spent 5.5 years in IIT Delhi. And I have got a lot of memories and sweet memories, of course. I was mess secretary of Shivalik Hostel. Once I went to visit Shivalik Hostel, and there was a lot of security, etc. They stopped me at the gate. I was mess secretary of this hostel, so I want to just go and have a round. And my room was NC 13. And once I go to Delhi, from main gate to hostels, hamara pura din beet jata hai, because I meet so many acquaintances at that time. Now it has become very old now, but I've got very good memories of my stay in IIT Delhi. Thank you.
Narinder, you are referring.
I have the same question.
I'm living in Jabalpur.
Narinder, you are referring to Amit Mitra. Amit Mitra was
yeah.
CII Director General
and
also Finance Minister of West Bengal.
West Bengal, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, this reminds me, there's another question to all of you. How many of you have visited IIT Delhi after passing out and have gone to your hostel and to your room where you were staying?
Yeah, I have. I have done
Sir,
it.
many times. Many a times. I keep on going even today.
Last week only I took photograph of all my rooms in Karakoram.
What about other guys there?
Many times, sir.
So that when you visit after say 5 years or 10 years, and you go and have a look at your what you call at your room or your hostel, what kind of feelings you have there at that time?
Narinder ji, I visited. I am not very far from IIT, but I first time visited after graduation after 25 years. First time.
But how
after
was the
that, I became regular.
No, the first time when you visited, how was the feeling?
Fantastic! I went with my kids. They were so excited to be there.
The amazing part is that it's still so similar. Like the tradition
Yeah,
and the culture is
exactly.
just
You have
it's
said it.
exactly the same.
Fantastic.
Despite that, now there are a lot of new buildings and a lot of new lights and
But the
them
feeling
quite
you get,
swanky, but it's still
but
the
the
same.
get after going there, when I went there after 25 years for my silver jubilee, the feeling you get was out of the world. The fantastic.
So,
Did you feel like a
sir,
student again?
Yeah. And a naughty student.
सर मैंने जब PhD ज्वाइन किया था, then my son was of 1.5 years or 2 years old. So he used to come at IIT. So he started alphabet afterwards, and first word he learned the PhD. What your papa is doing that PhD. So now he is with Flipkart. Did his graduation from DTU and then MBA from NITI. He is with Flipkart at Bangalore. So it's very interesting to took both the kids there where they enjoyed their childhood. That's very really.
Okay, one more question to all of you. How many of you
No, Narendra,
inspired or thought? Sorry.
Narendra, I would like to say something.
Sure, please.
You see, unlike these days when you are allotted a hostel as soon as you enter IIT, in our time, I mean, we used to be shifted from hostel to hostel because at that time hostels were getting built. So I have stayed in Vindhyachal, I have stayed in Karakoram, I have stayed in Aravali. So if somebody asks these days, which hostel are you from? I mean, it becomes very difficult. Like
the majority of the time you have spent, like I'm a Karaite.
मेको साहब गलती से कैलाश तो नहीं पहुंचा दिया था।
अच्छा, Kalpin, you should ask him how many days you stayed in Kailash.
नहीं यार,
कितने चक्कर मारे थे वहां
इतना जल्दी नहीं, पहले पता करते थे गए थे या नहीं गए थे।
नहीं कितने चक्कर मारे थे।
No, as a matter of fact, you see, during our Silver Jubilee celebration, this point was brought out that when we were there was only one female student per batch. And in 2018, when our Silver Jubilee was being celebrated, director informed that now we are having almost 23% as the female participants are.
Here we went too early.
Yeah, so I even made the remark that I wish I could become young and rejoin the IIT.
But the one point I will say that like my children, they are very successful, but they always proudly say that my father is an IITian. So that feeling, that give a lot of great feeling.
No, मेरे को वही पूछना था कि how many of us, the senior ones, that said, okay, we will send our kids also to the IIT here. How many of this thought ever came to your mind that we must send our kid also to the IIT?
No, I never said to my kids to go to IIT. मैंने कहा do whatever you like, and they are doing so well, and I'm happy about it. क्योंकि that creates unnecessary pressure on them. Like why?
जो हमने झेल लिया.
अरे यार, we enjoyed, Narendra ji. That was the best time of my life. I can never forget it. Yeah, I can never forget.
Actually, the issue is different. हम तो निकल के वो निकलेगा नहीं या नहीं निकलेगा पता नहीं है. See, it's not that easy to say that I'll send my ward to IIT. There is this famous answer from Narayan Murthy. I'm sure all of you must have heard about it. When some journalist asked him, what is your son Ron planning to do? And Narayan Murthy generally talked about Ivy League colleges and all. So the journalist was very curious that why not IIT? He said, no, that is provided he doesn't make it to IIT, he will go to one of these Ivy League colleges.
No,
Okay,
there is
now-
a question of it that he was asked, why didn't you send your ward to IIT? So the Mr. Murthy answered that yes, he did try for IIT, but he could not make it, and he went very easily to MIT.
Yeah, that's so flattering, yaar. Come on.
Yes. No, there also in Mumbai, where I stay, whenever some social gathering is there or some introductions are going on, So some people casually ask, so what did you do in engineering? So as soon as you say IIT Delhi, oh, you're from IIT Delhi. That all comes into the conversation. And then which year, etc., etc. Then the
When
figure,
you absolutely when
No,
you
that's right.
introduce yourself that you are from IIT Delhi, तो लोगों का नजरिया चेंज हो जाता है. They
That's
just
true. Very
look
true.
at you differently.
उनके
See,
कान खड़े हो
I
जाते
think
हैं.
all of you must have seen the recent QS survey results which have come out yesterday only. And IIT Delhi has once again been able to
43.
perform really very well.
Yeah.
And that's the only engineering college featuring from India in top 50 for
50, that's
engineering
right.
and technology
I think
education.
we are 43 or 44 ranked here. Okay, I'm taking the mic back. Let's have a closing remark from all these three people. So Nazuk, we start with you. What's your final say now?
It was a great 1 hour speaking to all of you and hearing such great stories. A very nostalgic moment, and it makes me appreciate those 4 years much more, and the amount that it has given me, the launchpad it has given me. Even wherever you go, there is always an automatic connect. It doesn't matter which part of the world you are in, which profession you are in, what is your job, and I think that's the biggest asset that IIT has given us, and for that I think we should make our alumni association even stronger for that reason.
That's good. So let's keep connected with the
So
IIT.
very
Yes.
well said, Nazuk. But the onus
Yeah.
lies on all of you also
Yes.
to carry forward the
Exactly.
legacy
Yes.
of
Yeah.
the association. I'm sure the last 50 years have been quite glorious.
Yes.
But the legacy will continue to remain at the top only when all of us make that effort. And you're all the
That's
brand
right.
ambassadors of association. So
Yes.
Correct,
please do
correct.
it. And we are very proud of all of you.
Yeah. Kaustubh, now it's your turn.
I think one of the things to take away, from the time at IIT, I think is the friendships that you're taking away, right? I'm actually right now I broke my leg or had a accident playing football the other day, and I'm literally staying at a batchmate's house right now, and he's bringing me chai and dinner and whatnot. So I think these friendships are like absolutely like irreplaceable. So that's been amazing. Every time we go back to Delhi, you catch up with a batchmate, make the trip to IIT, and see my hostel together or meet a professor. Very fond memories, superb year. I think we just get stronger year and year. Amazing to connect with the Alumni Association. I think I've moved from Bombay to Bangalore, and I think I've not done as many events locally as I would have liked to, but looking forward to being more active in the future.
Okay, that's great. So Ashish, it's yours now.
Yeah. So I think we should stay connected, and the best way to stay connected is obviously online, but physically, if we can have more frequent meetings, like we are in Mumbai, so Mumbai chapter, we can have more meetings, and that will really strengthen. It will be a cascading effect, snowball effect, which will be really helpful for everybody. And my office, production house, I have a studio also, is in Andheri West. Anybody who comes to Mumbai, please walk in. My company's name is Red Ash Films. Come over if you are shooting that day.
So don't
Enjoy
shoot
the
us.
shooting. We can shoot you also. Yeah.
Ashish, I shall
Okay,
definitely
just
come
one
here.
request to all the
Ashish
participants
has
today.
many extra roles, so he is looking for the volunteers also.
So we are there, don't worry.
कोई आ गया तो अंदर पकड़ के ले आओ.
Yeah, that kind of.
He said he has scripts ready and everything, so you just have to.
Now, guys, while we are on this, I would like to add a few sentences about the association itself. In fact, probably many of you would have come across this theme that we had for the last Alumni Day, which was actually engage, enrich, and empower. And that's exactly what all of us need to do, that we need to engage amongst ourselves with the students, with the institute. It is definitely going to be a very enriching experience for all of you. And the more you get involved, more you will enjoy. So as I heard that Bangalore chapter, Mumbai chapter, they're all very active chapters. Of course, no doubt NCR is very, very active. But having said this, in your own small way, you can contribute a lot. And trying to ensure that at least there is some vibrancy in your local chapter. It would probably help the association as much. So feel free to come back to the association whenever you feel like. We are always there. And association is 58,000 strong now. We have more than 500 IAS, IPS, IRS offices. So rest assured, you walk into any state, maybe some DGP, principal secretary, you will be able to speak to anyone or go to anybody's office and walk in proudly. So we enjoy that privilege, and therefore I would say exercise your privilege very judiciously, very discreetly, and also try to contribute to it. The stronger we are, I think each one becomes as strong as the network is. And therefore, if the network is very strong, each one of you will enjoy that strength. So my personal submission to all of you is remain engaged and keep contributing. Thank you.
Yeah. Just going to add to what Kalpen has said. See, each one of us, we know our batchmate and hostel mates very well. So, you must encourage your own batchmates as well as your hostel mates to get connected with IIT Delhi, and let's all work towards making ourselves enriched, empowered, and all that. Yeah. See you soon again in another episode of Ye Un Dino Ki Baat Hai. I hope you all enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone. Keep coming.
Everyone.
Let's remain connected. Yeah. Bye bye everybody.
Take care.
Have
Have a good weekend, all of you. Enjoy the weekend.
Bye. Have a nice time. Bye.